Hello everyone, my name is Samaneh Saadat and I'm presenting our work on impact of bots on the workflow of GitHub teams. When tasks are too large or too complex for a single individual, teams are beneficial. In modern workplaces, bots are becoming more common as teammates. Although bots are created with the purpose of improving productivity of human team members, it is crucial to study the impact of bots on dynamics of teams to ensure bots are not disrupting collaboration. Online environments that collect users' action data such as GitHub are ideal laboratories to study human-bot teaming. Analyzing temporal sequences of teams can be used to provide novel insights about dynamic nature of teams. In this research, we created event sequences of GitHub teams with bots and teams without bots and studied differences between sequences of these two types of teams. GitHub is a popular software repository and a collaborative development tool. Developers can submit their contributions to repositories and have discussions around the project. Ever-growing complexity of modern software engineering makes the automation of tasks imperative. Software bots are developed to improve productivity and workflow of developers. In their basic form, bots are interfaces that connect users and services, and in their more advanced form, bots may exploit data analysis or AI techniques. Bots support individual developers by automating routine tasks, helping developers stay in the flow, performing redundant tasks, and improving decision-making. Bots also support team cognition by improving situation awareness and enhanced communication. To study impact of bots on teams, we take a sequence mining perspective and answer these questions. Do sequence patterns exist that distinguish human bot teams from human-only ones? How do bots affect the team sequence patterns? There are different types of patterns in sequences. Substrings are exact contiguous matches. Sequential patterns are exact in contiguous matches, and motifs are inexact contiguous matches. Since we are dealing with long sequences of human behavior, motifs seems the best type of pattern to consider as they are flexible and suitable for long sequences. We use a method called contrast motif discovery to compare groups of sequences. Assuming there are two groups of sequences, contrast motif discovery first finds candidate motif for each group and then discovers contrast motifs that are significantly closer to one group compared to other. The data we used for our research is 1 month of data on GHTorrent. We found over 45 million public events in this data, and we had 400,000 active users in this dataset. The first step to study bots is to identify them. We developed an automatic bot detection approach for this purpose. We prepared our training data by first finding all accounts that have the word bot in their username, and then manually labeled a subset of these accounts based on their GitHub profile and our web search. In 612 accounts that we looked at, we found 424 bots. Then we extracted features for all these accounts. Our features are comment similarity, which is the average cosine similarity of comments in that account. Organization owned, which shows if the account belongs to an organization. Unique event type, which is the number of types of event the account performed. And bot placement, which is the placement of word bot in the username. We trained and tested various classifiers on the labeled dataset, including logistic regression, random forest, and gradient boosting. We evaluated the classifiers using cross-validation, and since the dataset is imbalanced, we used stratified k-fold cross-validator. All tested classifiers achieved F1 score higher than 0.9. Gradient boosting achieved the highest F1 score of 0.93. We used gradient boosting classifier to build a model on 612 labeled samples, and we labeled the remaining unlabeled accounts. We considered a GitHub user team member if they contributed at least one push or one pull request event to the repository. A team is a repository with 2 or more human members. We removed non-members and bot events from the event log. Then we ordered the events corresponding to each team based on the time that event is performed, and created event sequences for each team. Following table shows the percent of different event types. Push and pull requests are most frequent events. These two events are used to submit changes made on a local repository to the main repository. To clean our dataset, we removed the least frequent events to make the algorithm run faster, and we combined issue and issue comment event as they are referring to the same kind of activity. We also removed sequences shorter than 5. Our dataset is imbalanced with about 200,000 human-only teams and 4,000 human bot teams. For each team, we created a vector that contains the frequency of the different event types in that team. Then for each human bot team, we found the most similar human-only team with respect to their event frequency vector, and downsampled human-only teams to 4,000 teams corresponding to 4,000 human bot teams. This table shows the median of event frequencies. The first column is related to human bot teams, the second column is related to original human-only teams, and the last column is related to downsampled human-only teams. And you see that after the downsampling, the medians of human-only teams are more similar to human bot teams. We ran the contrast motif discovery tool on the sequences we created for GitHub teams. These graphs show the contrast motifs for each team type. We observed a more complex graph structure for human bot teams, while human-only teams have a simpler structure. Another observation is that in human bot teams, issue comments occur before and after each event type. We hypothesized that this pattern occurs because in human bot teams, issue comments are intermixed with other events rather than being clustered together. To confirm this hypothesis, we measured the average length of consecutive issue comment event in all sequences. We ran a man-Whitney U-test to investigate whether there is a difference between two types of teams. U-test indicates that the average length of consecutive issue comment event in human-only teams is higher than this value in human bot teams, and the difference is statistically significant. Literature shows that when automation is introduced to a team, humans lose situation awareness. Human team members may use comments to stay in the loop as a mechanism to gain situation awareness in GitHub teams. In conclusion, both human-only and human bot teams have contrast motifs that are found predominantly in only one of the groups. And the contrast motifs indicate that in human bot teams, issue comments are scattered throughout the event sequences, while in human-only teams, the contrast motifs are simpler and issue comments tend to be clustered together. It is crucial to further study the performance of human bot teams to ensure that continuous communication compensates for the loss of situation awareness and does not negatively impact the performance of the teams. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Now we would be happy to answer any question that you may have.